HYPERCAR MOUNTAIN.
Hi, this is Larry Hatch, and welcome to another episode of HYPERCAR Mountain. I've been waiting for this episode for a really long time, and it's called 4GT Modern. And by modern, I mean the 2017 to present model, the so-called third generation of the lovely American supercar. And I was going to do all the 4GTs together, but I've got way too many of them, and there's way too many to talk about. I'm going to start with the Hot Wheels today, and I got 4 of them pictured here, and there are a number of different variations. I've got to say the Hot Wheels is actually a pretty good model. Most of them have black simple wheels, but you can get those improved. And what I like about the rear wheels is that they're very wide. For Hot Wheels, they're extremely wide. They do not have the buttress, the pass-through between the doors and the back underneath what is called the buttress. They do not have that passage through, and believe it or not, only the Tomica has that in the 1/64 scale so far. But that would be very hard to mold in a die-cast car, all that complexity. The one thing I've got to say about the Ford GT from Hot Wheels is that the chassis has really no mechanical detail. That's a little bit of a disappointment. Like I say, the rear wheels being wide makes the car look better. The examples that I have absolutely little or no color on the tail lamps. The blue example I have with white stripes does have red tail lamps, but for some crazy reason a lot of the others do not, and I'm not sure why that is. Basically, we need to define that this is the street version of the Hot Wheels 2017 issue, and not the racing or ZMAC or Forza version that has the huge spoiler in the back. Really not going to talk about that car because we're not really dealing with race cars in this series. So anyways, so of the basic street car, it comes in a red with a white stripe, comes in a white with a silver stripe, comes in a silver with a black stripe, comes in a dark blue with a white stripe, and a kind of a weird crest, almost like an engine design on the roof. So the dark blue is actually very different than the others. In fact, the stripes flare out towards the windshield wipers. It's kind of different. And the Hot Wheels in this scale has an interesting sort of decal or tempo painting for the headlamps. It shows the complexity of the headlamps a lot better than some of the other manufacturers, and we'll talk about that in a second. I said the versions are red with white, white with silver, silver with black, dark blue with white in the crest. There's also yellow with a black, and there's also a light blue with a white stripe, and that can have a 23 racing numeral on the trunk, or I'm sorry, on the front, or not. So the light blue with white comes in 2 versions. The most rare version so far is the Texaco limited edition, which is gold with the Texaco red and white logo and a single white stripe. Has the number 13 on the door. That's one of the more collectible ones. And a lot of these are custom made on eBay. In fact, I've shown this previously. Chef Biz, CHEFBIZ, put custom wheels on the red and white one, and we've got that. I've also got a screenshot from the folks who do many color versions of it, and you can see that here. And they are BISH FTL _ collectibles, and they have many color variants that they've hand painted for only $7.99. So you can, if you want a purple one, a dark green one, you name it, they'll do it. So it's kind of interesting, and you can give them a shot. The next car I want to do is the Tomica, and again we said that is the only one in this scale so far that actually has the aerodynamic pass-through that you can look through all the way to the back of the car past the buttresses. As far as I know, only the Tomica only comes in silver or medium blue. The silver is more common, and it's got a little bit of chassis detail, but not much. The tail lamps are red in my example, and the headlights are just kind of painted a kind of a darker silver. It's got a black interior. The wheels are just a simple, crude look to them. I think the basic Hot Wheels wheels are actually better quality than this. It also, besides the silver, it also comes in a medium blue, known as the first special edition, and those vary in price from $7 to $16, so they apparently are a little more rare. The Majorette version is very interesting. No chassis detail to speak of, except for some interesting grooves in the back for the diffuser, as they call it. The tail lamps are red, and if you look really carefully, the headlamps are kind of a clear plastic, and that's quite a bit of an effort. A lot of these cars do not have a realistic mirror to the car, because the mirrors do in the real car stick out quite a bit, but in the Majorette they are very large and very much true to form, and it makes an interesting car. The reason I bought the purple one is I just thought it was different. The Majorette comes in purple, a medium blue, and a red. I've got a picture here comparing the Hot Wheels and the Maisto. The silver version with black stripes of one versus the other. And I thought it was a very interesting comparison. The chassis don't look anything alike, but the Maisto has a kind of an interesting wheel that's kind of a gray plastic. It's not really realistic, and those wheels are very solid. The tail lamps are red, and it happens to be that the silver Hot Wheels does not have red tail lamps in my example. In fact, the Maisto actually has a license plate that's painted on the back. It's looks very much like the Hot Wheels side by side, and but you can tell them apart. The Maisto actually does have projected mirrors, short ones, and the Hot Wheels does not. So that's kind of interesting. The last one is perhaps the most complex. That is the Greenlight or MiJo series, and they are very solid cars. And they have a real rubber type wheel, and in some of the examples the wheels actually match the production car with a multiple spoke, and in a couple of examples you can actually see through the black wheel spokes to what I imagine would be the large silver rotor. That's a really nice touch. They have a red plastic tail lamp in the back, and it varies with the headlamps. It's a kind of a tempo, either silver or black, and it varies in the amount of detail, but the detail of the headlamps is comparable to the Hot Wheels. They come in many examples, and I'll go through these quickly. I bought the Gulf livery version, which is the famous light blue and orange. with the Gulf Racing logo. It also comes in a silver and black. I also have here the so-called mule, the test car, although they didn't actually use these colors from my research. The more interesting one is a matte sort of olive green with gray doors, and that is very interesting. The quality of the Greenlight is variable with the color, but the one thing that's consistent about it is the engine. Through the rear plastic you can see contrasting silver and black, so the engine detail in the Greenlight is perhaps the best of all. They have a very solid metal chassis, no mechanical detail, but because the chassis is also metal and not plastic, the car has a nice feel to it. Besides the matte olive with a gray door mule, there's also one from the Green Machine series of mule that is silver with green tires, and that retails so far for about $49, so that's hard to get. The mules were limited production to 2,760. I don't know if that's per color or for all of them, but kind of cool. There is a rare Barrett-Jackson version that's kind of a medium quote liquid blue. That's a beautiful car. There's a car in the Carbon series which has got a charcoal color with an orange stripe. I believe that simulates a carbon fiber body, but it's not really carbon fiber. And then they have what they call the Heritage series, which is somewhat parallel to the real car's Heritage colors. And there's two series of that. The Heritage Series 1 comes in gold with white stripes, black with silver stripes, yellow with black stripes, light blue with white stripes, red with white stripes, and orange with white stripes. The Heritage 2 comes in a interesting brown with a green, I guess, front end, almost like a bra, you put on a car, and it has a number 4 on the door. Also in the Heritage 2 series is a silver that has a black hood and black stripes with a 7 on the door. And also in the Heritage 2 series is a dark blue with a white single stripe. So you have a lot of choices here. The real car could be ordered in many different colors. And if you're interested in the real car, I recommend the guru of Ford GTs, a guy named Shmee, S-H-M-E-E 150. And he's a famous car reviewer on YouTube. Probably most of you know him. And I got a picture of him here. He takes you through the whole process of how to get an allocation for the real car, how to spec it out, how to visit, how they let the owners go to the factory in Ontario, Canada, and watch them being built. It is an American car, but like the Dodge Charger, Dodge Challenger, Chrysler 300, a lot of them are built in Canada, so very international car. So anyway, I recommend his series of videos if you're interested in the real car, and just type in Shmee, S-H-M-E-E, and Ford GT. Thank you.
HYPERCAR Mountain. HYPERCAR Mountain.